The needs of millions of people after the war and the 30 million refugees in Europe created new challenges for charities throughout the world. On April 18, 1944, Monsignor Ferdinando Baldelli, Carlo Eger, and Otto Faller started on behalf of the Pope the official Pontificia Commissione di Assistenza. Parallel to these efforts, Madre Pasqualina was asked by the Pope to direct his personal charity efforts, the Magazzino, officially under Monsignor Montini, later Pope Paul VI. As the Vatican has decided not to publish summary statistics on the full extent of its charity, only spotty information is available. The Papal Pontificia Commissione di Assistenza to the most needy populations of Europe delivered more than 90,000 crates, weighing well over £6 million. The Pope asked the faithful, bishops, governments, and the United Nations for help. They each received a full meal, after which the Pope thanked the benefactors of the United Nations for their great generosity. As Bishop of Rome, Pope Pius XII felt a personal obligation towards needy Romans. He increased papal soup kitchen rations from 3 million rations annually to 40 million by the year 1947. On Christmas 1944, he personally gave gift packages to 3,000 Roman children and delivered another 4,000 to children on the Feast of Epiphany, 2 weeks later. Millions of refugees and displaced persons existed in post-war Europe, many of them in Italy. The Red Cross and the PCA did their best to issue on-the-spot identity papers to these millions of victims, who had lost everything. After 1990, the activities of the PCA and the Red Cross were critically reviewed, as it became known that both organizations had aided German and Croatian war criminals to leave Europe in the so-called Rat Line. Furthermore, declassified British Foreign Office and CIA documents revealed that Pope Pius XII and his closest aides Giovanni Battista Montini, who would later become Pope Paul VI, and Domenico Tardini were well informed and even played an active role. The temporary ad hoc organization received official status on June 15, 1953, when the Pontificia Commissione di Assistenza, PCA, was renamed into Pontificia Opera di Assistenza in Italia, POA. In northern Italy, it assisted 300,000 flood victims over a long period of time in 1953. At the death of Pope Pius XII, it assisted 8 million needy persons through diocesan offices throughout Italy. Pope Pius repeatedly supported these charity efforts in several messages, his annual Christmas messages and in his encyclical Horatius Aquas. The French hierarchy created in 1946 its own Secours Catholique, and the Catholic American hierarchy initiated the War Relief Services WRS, which was associated to the National Catholic Welfare Conference. The papal and other Catholic charities depended largely on the generosity of American Catholics after the war, who contributed $30 million over a very short period of time. As national Catholic charities began to mushroom, Pope Pius XII initiated the creation of an international Catholic charity conference and invited national organizations to a meeting in Rome on September 15, 1950. They agreed to a permanent cooperation and elected Ferdinando Baldelli as president. In the following years, Catholic charities developed in Latin America and Asia. As war relief services lost in importance, these charities specialized increasingly in emergency aid, such as Hungarian refugees after the revolution, earthquakes or floods in the Netherlands, Belgium and Italy. In 1970, POA was changed into Caritas Italiana by Pope Paul VI. Although Pope Pius XII began to speak on the subject in his last months of 1958, the concept of large-scale international development aid was not formalized during the time of Pope Pius.